Same deal here. I mean, American Airlines probably is either junk or slightly above that. And that's typically these days, treasuries plus 4 or so. So that means it's going to cost you 9% a year to borrow the money. If you can't make enough business to make more than 9%, you're losing money. That is good if you can do something good with it. Okay? I mean, I didn't do that on leverage, but technically I was leveraged with the options. Because I picked the direction right, I made 75% on my investment in 25 days. But if that's balance sheet, that's financials for talented came out a little bit below expectations, that stock would have gone down to $15. And that option would have been below $1. That means I would have lost more than half of my money. It's a long-term option, so I would have waited. But leverage is, any Tarantino fans here? Quentin Tarantino fans? Come on! Only the second best director ever. The best is always Stanley Kubrick. Nothing can, even Godfathers were not as good as Space Odyssey 2001. Especially the beginning music on that, and the scene. Anybody has seen that movie? Oh. That music, if you don't know what it is, it's a piece by Johann Strauss. And so spoke the Zoroastrian. It's kind of a religion in the old days. But it still gives, even thinking about that music gives me goosebumps. Okay, Tarantino had a movie called Kill Bill. He actually made the movie in one piece, but it was close to 6 hours. Studio told him, we ain't releasing a 6-hour movie. And it was released in 2 pieces, Kill Bill 1 and 2. He was a famous sword maker. His name is Hattori Hanzo. Hattori Hanzo is actually a famous samurai back from the 16th century. And he says, you know, with this sword, you can cut a baseball, but you can also cut yourself. Leverage is a Hattori Hanzo sword. Okay? If you don't know what you're doing with it, you're gonna cut things that you don't even know you had. I do own samurai swords. Not Hattori Hanzo's. Technically, it says Hattori Hanzo on it. They made a replica of the bride of the sword of the bride. Of course, I bought it. I got 2 katanas and 1 tanto. Tanto is the short one. It's almost never used in battle. If you did, that would have been a dishonorable thing. The only purpose of a tanto is to take your own life during seppuku. You may know that as, let's see the name for it. Anyway, when a samurai is dishonored, especially if they lose their master, they're supposed to stab themselves in the gut, open themselves. The idea is that lets the dishonor go out, and you pick a second. Your second has your own katana in hand. As soon as you do that, you are no more dishonorable, so you don't deserve to suffer. It chops your head off. What's the other name for it? The Americans use it a lot, but that's not the correct name. The correct name in Japanese is seppuku. All right. So be careful with your leverage. Now, given all that discussion that involved even a quantum Tarantino movie, I can put a movie into any discussion. I spent a lot of my freshman, sophomore, and junior years subtitling English movies into Turkish. So there are so many crappy movies I watched. And I had to watch some of them multiple times. I watched Rambo 2 17 times. I mean, that's definition of cruel and unusual punishment. Rambo 1 I liked. It had a point. Rambo 2, it was like there was a competition those days between Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who could kill more men in a movie and in more creative ways? There was even a spoof of that. I can't remember the name of the movie. Charlie Sheen was playing someone like Rambo. Instead of an arrow, he used a chicken to shoot somebody. But whenever there was a good movie, I actually put my name on the subtitles by. First one I ever did was Kiss of a Spider Woman. Anybody has seen that? I think William Hurt got an Oscar for that. It was William Hurt and Raul Julia. It was about some unnamed Latin American country. There's a political prisoner, but next to him, William Hurt plays a gay guy. The kind of affection that develops between them and all this story. Oh, beautiful movie. If you can find it on Amazon or anything like that, definitely watch it. It's mid-80s. You need to know a little bit about the crap that was going on in Latin American countries to understand that. Because until about mid-90s, almost all Latin American countries were military dictatorships. And those dictators changed every few years. Whoever got up early in the morning had a coup. After mid-90s, stuff started changing. And the mother of all these is the debt equity ratio. As you may have guessed, it is the ratio of total debt or total liabilities to total equity. You may have a variant of that, long-term debt equity ratio. That's probably more informative, but we're going to keep it simple for the purpose of this class. I was teaching Finance 410, which is a financial statement analysis class, I would have looked at that separately. Again, you tell finer stories to finer audiences. Total liabilities divided by total equity. What's an acceptable number on this kind of depends on the industry. Certain industries, by their very nature, requires a lot of big investments upfront. Airlines. I mean, these days you can lease it too, but a lot of leases technically are loans that are not called loans. They're capital leases. Airplane doesn't cost $10. Okay, it costs 10 million, 100 million, depending on the airplane. So you need a lot of cash up front. But if you're Walmart, you don't need that much debt. You don't need that much to build their warehouses. I'm sure all of you have been to Walmart before. How much it's going to cost to have that crappy warehouse? Not much. Again, this is not specific to Walmart. Costco warehouses are not any different. Only the stuff in Costco is a lot better compared to Walmart. The only trouble is you can't find anything small. I never got out of Costco, even for a very short visit, without spending $50. Even just if I'm buying coffee, the smallest I can buy is 2 pounds. I pay typically $15 to $20, depending upon the coffee I bought. If I'm gonna get meat, depending upon the meat, I add anything from $30 to $100. Now, if you're getting lamb chops or leg of lamb, minimum, you're gonna spend $30. If you're gonna get ribeye, then you're not getting only 2 ribeye steaks. You're getting 5, 6 of them. There are no small packages. But, if you package them and put them in the freezer, you're good. What's an acceptable number? Again, depends on the industry. So you gotta kind of look at the industry standards. But you don't want that to be 10, okay? Except for banks. For banks, 8, 9, 10 are roughly considered, acceptable numbers. Because more often than not, the assets banks buy with those borrowings are a lot more liquid than an airplane, even though technically speaking, they're not short-term assets. But for example, when Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns died in 2008, their leverage ratio, debt to equity ratio, was terrible. That means for each $3 of roughly $3.50 of their own money, they borrowed $96.50. Again, as long as the cost of paying interest on that loan is less than what you make with that money, that's no problem.